Hey guys, welcome back for our YouTube live event. It's a weekly event we do every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and answer all of your real estate, finance, investing, business, and retirement questions. It's a really good event. You guys get to ask detailed questions. I'm on Instagram as well, and on Instagram usually we have about 60 to 100 people. And during that time, I don't always get to answer every single question, but during the YouTube live event, it's a little bit smaller, so I get some time to answer all of your questions and get as detailed as possible. So I hope everybody had a great day and is ready for the next week. I want to kind of get everyone pumped and ready to go out there and get ready to kind of accomplish their goals. It's almost the end of January, right? 2020, and keep on working to your goals, keep on sticking to your goals. By focusing and being consistent and persistent, we'll all be able to get to the goals. So, I hope everyone had a great day. Today was my daughter's birthday, so we had a nice time. She got ice cream cake. I got ice cream cake. So, it was a good day. So, how was everybody else's day? Awesome. I got a question that came in. It says, do you like CBT? I do not know what CBT is, so I do not know what CBT is, so I cannot answer that question. All right. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask. I can go through I got a lot of YouTube, Instagram questions that came in. Those aren't the type of questions I answer. All right. All right. And let's see. Got a bunch of questions off Instagram. So I got another question that came in. Give me 1 second. All right, so I had a question here. What's your opinion on buying gold for security? All right, so gold is security, right? It is an asset that is, and I own some silver, gold and silver, right? It is an asset that is like a hedge against inflation. Because normally when there's trouble in the global market, when you hold gold, it goes up in value when a lot of currencies devaluate and other assets devaluate. Now, being in America, why I feel as a non-mature investor, right? Let's just say if you are someone that had tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, I'd be like, yeah, buy gold. If you are older and you're not planning to invest, I'll say, yeah, you could buy gold. And that would be a way where you can kind of hedge yourself against the global market, about currency issues and other asset issues. Now, one of the issues when you buy gold is that the pro is that it should go up in value when there's a lot of issues going on on the globe. So that's a pro, right? That asset's going to go up. But because it's illiquid and because you cannot buy and sell it that easily, right? You can buy and sell like gold ETFs and things like that. But physical gold, when you buy and sell, it's not as easy. Two, when you sell, there's fees associated. So then, cuts in your profits. Those are some of the cons. to it. In addition to some of the cons to buying gold, is that when you're under say $10 million, you're going to be using that cash to buy other assets, other stocks, other bonds, buying real estate. All those things are going to be on sale. And normally, gold is more like a hedge, and it just kind of keeps your money safe. It doesn't really build wealth, right? You want to be able to have your cash liquid, so you're able to buy the assets that are on discount, so you can build your wealth. So that's where I do have silver, but normally, I'm selling that when the market is going through the turmoil and through the issues. So when other people are starting to buy it, I'm actually selling it. When everybody else is selling it, I'm buying it. So right now, pretty soon prices are going to go up more and more, but I'm more of in preparing to sell, not being prepared to buy. Now, if you have a lot of money and have a lot to spare, yes, there's going to be some options for you. But remember, you're paying at least 3% fee to sell. So you have to make sure that you're buying, and it goes up at more than 3% for it to spend your time to buy and sell. What I would say to people is, if you're planning to spend the money within a year, I would keep it liquid. Do not put it in the stock market, bond market, mutual funds, in gold, silver. I would keep it as liquid as possible so you can be able to access your money and be able to go and do deals. To be honest with you, I don't know where my voice went. My voice was fine like 10 minutes ago, so I don't know what just happened, but we're all going to get past this. So that is my take on gold. I like it. Silver, I like it. I like silver more than gold, personally. But I would say it depends on what your goals are, right? If you have a lot of money and you're super, super conservative and you don't want to get back into the real estate market and stock market when prices go down, then yeah, start buying lots of silver and gold. Otherwise, I think you'll be fine without it. I'm pulling up some questions that I've been getting on IG, consistent ones, and to answer them. So I got another question. I got a question here from Saul. It says, how do you structure your day? Or you just do what you need to do? So I do have a structure to my day. And normally my day starts like this. I get up and I go through my morning routine. I'll say I feel great today. Check my weight, drink water, meditate. I'll play brain games, Luminosity or Elevate. I'll make my bed. I'll stretch. I'll do my morning exercises, which is my Wing Chun and my Sun Sik. I'll take my vitamins. I'll have breakfast. I'll drink tea. I'll brush my teeth, and then I'll encourage myself for accomplishing that. From there, I'll go through each day has a different goal. So say Mondays, I'll be going into the office and doing accounting work for my accounting clients. I'll make sure the payroll's done, bookkeeping's done, things like that. Check my accounting email. Tuesday, I'll touch base and see how the accounting firm, insurance agencies are doing. See how those are going. In the afternoons, each of those days, I'll go and check on the real estate projects. I'll check my emails, text messages. I'll check Airbnb if anything is rented, and make sure the scheduling is done. So between all the scheduling of what I'm doing, so don't think just because you have a job that's it. Let me tell you something my father told me when I was younger. And I not only took it, but I took it to a next level. He says, if you work 8 hours a day, you will make enough money to survive. And that holds true if you're a plumber or if you're a doctor. Because even though they make different amounts, they spend different amounts. So if you only work 8 hours, unless you're super conservative, you'll only have enough money to survive. If you work 40 hours a week, if you work 60 hours a week, you'll have a retirement. And I took it to the next level, and said if you work 80 hours a week, you'll be wealthy. And if you listen to Elon Musk, he says work 100 hours a week. So I actually do work 100 hours plus a week. And for me, it's not work. Just like, Kobe Bryant, he passed away earlier today. God rest his soul. He worked 100 hours a week. He played basketball. He practiced. He watched other people's play. He watched the game. He was there at the court. He was watching other people play live and videos to hone his skill. You have to find something that you love and hone your skill. This way you know what is good and what's not good. And you eventually build such a skill set that you'll be able to automatically respond when things happen subconsciously. That's why I say watch my YouTube videos multiple times. Watch my IG videos multiple times. You need to digest it and absorb it. The books I suggest reading, I say read them multiple times. I've read them multiple times myself. Warren Buffett reads the same book multiple times. He says he reads certain books every single year so he can redigest the information. You need to absorb it, and it will change the way you think and act. A lot of times you'll make good decisions subconsciously. You won't realize it's because of other things people have done. Crazy, interesting story. I had an electrician work on my property. And he had a rental property and he has not rented it out yet. I said, how come? He said, well, I don't know where to rent it. And I don't know who to rent it to. So I gave him 3 pieces of advice. I said, 1, check Craigslist because Craigslist works in this area for your price point. 2, you're renting it out for too cheap. 3, interview many people and your gut should tell you who you feel like trusting. Because his rental property was right next to the home he owns, which he wanted to be careful who rents next to him, which is very similar to what I advise most of the people that follow me. Buy a duplex, live on one side, rent out the other one. And despite all the information I gave him, he only remembered 2 of the 3 pieces. He remembered interview many people and rent out on Craigslist. He then said he listed it for more than he told me prior because he saw that it could be listed for more money. I'm like, oh, so you took my advice, list it for higher because you're too cheap. He said, no, I did research and that's why I did it. I said, oh, so you didn't take my advice? He's like, I don't remember your advice. The point I'm trying to make is if he gave me credit or didn't give me credit, it wouldn't matter. But my point is for you to understand and digest the information properly, you need to watch it multiple times because a lot of times you won't remember it. And if you do remember it, you're like, I don't know if that's the right answer. If you watch it multiple times, that belief will build stronger and stronger inside of you. So, educate yourself and you'll grow. And for all the people that left the thumbs up, thank you very much. I appreciate your positive feedback. I like doing this for you guys to help you grow. So, any other questions? Please feel free to throw it in the messages on the side and I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to go into the IG account and pull out all the great questions that I have received. All right, give me a second. Oh, another real quick point. If anyone ever tries to tell you to pay for a service through wire, it's probably a scam. Never wire someone money. So my buddy did a service with someone on Instagram, and that guy said, wire me the money. And he wired him $10,000. Me, I'm not going to wire anybody $10,000 for a service. I paid him with a credit card. And as I felt, he was a fraud. So I had a credit card. I can go back to the credit card company to get my money back. If you wire someone money and they're a fraud, you're never going to get the money back. You have to sue them. And then odds of you collecting is extremely unlikely. So if If you're paying for a service, make sure it's an extremely reputable company or pay with a credit card. And 99.9% of all reputable companies don't take wires. So Lost in Strings official says, if you would be a teenager, would you invest first in more risky options that give you 5% monthly or diversify on something safer? It's extremely unlikely for you to have something that would be able to, some type of investment that pays you 5% monthly. Extremely unlikely. If you get offered anything that pays you more than 12% annually, it's extremely unlikely to be true. 12%. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors in history, says he looks for a 15% return annually on his investment. And that's not a dividend paid to you in cash monthly, right? That's not 1%. What is that? 1.25% monthly paid to him is 15% a year. So Warren Buffett wants 1.25% a year, greatest investor of all time. And you're saying 5%. And he says if I get 1.25% a month, which is 15% a year, it is satisfactory, it's acceptable. So if you receive anything more than 1% a year, that's extremely risky, okay? And you better be sure what your money's on. So if someone's offering you 5% a year, the odds of that working is extremely unlikely. I'm not a fortune teller, but everybody that's known anything about investing says something's wrong there. Because if they're paying you 30% a year, what is that, 5%? No, 60%. 60% return a year. What are they doing to make money? Like, even if they sold drugs, right, illegal drugs, they could not make the return necessary to pay you 5% a month. Doesn't make sense. Very dangerous. Abe says, how would you authenticate wire information of title company and mortgage-related payments? So every email that you receive from a title company will say, do not trust email wires. Call in to verify this information. So that's how you do it. You get a wire, email information, and then you call to the title company. Because in Florida, we use title agents. We don't use lawyers. So then you just call to verify that information is from them. Lost in Strings. Actually, it is drugs, cannabis industry. Thank you for your response. Again, even in drugs, getting a 5% return a month is extremely unlikely. Extremely unlikely. So, yeah. Now again, if it was a reputable cannabis industry stock, I would think about that. But at that point, you don't even know if that company's legit. Because remember, back in '99, everyone would sell shares in a company, and they would just put .com on the end of their name, and they would get a shitload of money, and they would just fail. So I would probably invest in a cannabis mutual fund, where you have multiple different companies you're investing in, just to diversify your risk. Good questions today. A lot of good questions. So the next one question came in online, says, buying apartments with FHA loan. Yes, you can buy 1 to 4 unit properties considered still residential, 1 to 4 units, and it still counts towards an FHA loan, Federal Housing Administration. And what that means is there's programs that allow you to buy these 1 to 4 unit properties if you live in it, and they'll only require you 3.5% down. That's a very low down payment. That's really awesome. And even with FHA, even with PMI payments, private mortgage insurance payments, even with all those expenses and a slightly higher interest rate, it is still an amazing deal if you buy the right property. The loan doesn't matter as much. What matters is how good the deal is, the real estate you're buying. For everyone that just joined us, I apologize for my voice. I don't know what happened, but 20 minutes ago, it was perfectly fine. Sorry about that. So, Saul says, what question do you ask yourself when investing? It's a great question, Saul. I see one, is this area going to go up in value? Right? Not all real estate. I know all real estate is going to go up in value, right? But I'm not a billionaire. And I'm not like Grant Cardone, which has so much money that he'll buy anything because he needs to spend money. He has so much money, he has to spend it and doesn't always get the best returns. I have to make sure that I get the best returns for my money because I only have $1 million to spend. So I want to make sure I'm getting the best out of my $1 million. So one, is this area going to go up more than other areas? One. Two, do I have options of redevelopment of the land or area to rezone it to something better? And then, three, can I make it commercial? If I can do all three, then it's a fire deal, and I'll do everything I can to try to buy it, as long as they're not asking for too much money. Those are the three things I'm looking for. Those are the general things I'm looking for. Now, say it doesn't qualify for all three. Say it qualifies for, say, two. I say, can I do value add? Can I buy the property, do significant improvements to the property to increase the quality and increase the rents? And is the rent increase significantly more than the amount of money I have to spend to upgrade the property? If the answer is yes, then it is a very quick buy for me. Like my Safety Harbor property said yes to all three options, plus yes to the appreciation, the value add. So it was basically it was like a AAA plus property. So when I called them and I said, here is exactly what you're asking for, no negotiation. Let's close right now. My Oldsmar property that's for sale right now, that one, AAA plus property, I offered them more than what they were asking for because it was a no-brainer. So now, yes, go get water. Excuse me. So, and the same thing with the Oldsmar property I'm looking at now. It has a lot of value add opportunities. It is not a AAA plus, it's a AA plus, but it's still very good. I could double the rents, and I could be able to make a lot of money in appreciation. So 1.8 million buy, about $500,000 renovation, and then I'll be able to basically double the value, probably between 3.2 million to 3.6 million in the new appraisal amount. I'll be able to cash out refinance within 2 to 3 years and be able to take out all the initial investment, so I have no money in the deal, and I'll still own it and collect rent. So basically, I'm bird methoding an apartment complex. It's nice. All right. Abe says, get well soon. Thanks, Abe. To be honest, I'm not sick. I just have a funky voice. Saul says, how do you look at money? Money is not real. So don't fall in love with money, because money's not real. Money is just a mechanism to transfer, right? You transfer your time for money. Eventually you build up money. You transfer your expertise and you get money, right? What I'm doing, because how is money not real? For example, I'm buying the $1.8 million project, and I'm putting $500,000. It's done. You add 1.8 million plus 500,000. That's 2.3 million. How can you add 1.8 million, 500,000, total of 2.3 million, and say those two numbers added together make 3.2 million to 3.6 million. Money itself, 1.8 and 500 equals 2.3. How does 2.3 make 3.2 to 3.6? Money doesn't do that. It's value. That's what does that. It's your work ethic. It's your creativity. Money is not worth anything. Your creativity is worth something. The value you bring to the table brings something. That's why one person does something and another person does the same exact thing, but the function of how they do it, the manner in which they do it, creates a different value and creates a different result and creates a different it's a different value that's viewed by people, right? That's why Nike can take a shirt and put a check mark on it and sell it for $30, where that same t-shirt's only worth $6. So value for money is not anything. It's what is the value you're creating? What is the feeling you're creating? What is the brand you're creating? That has value. And in turn, people will trade you for it. Now, the goal at the end of the day is when you have money, you don't want to keep it because money is worthless. You, with $10 million, you're going to feel worthless. You're not going to feel like you have something. You have to trade it for something else more valuable, and you have to trade it for freedom. So at the end of the day, money should only be used to buy yourself freedom and to be able to go to use it to find your happiness. And your money should be applied towards your happiness and the things that make you happy and things that make you fulfilled. So that's why I like real estate. Because real estate, I'm an investor. I'm not a real estate investor. I'm an investor. I invest in everything. But what I like about real estate is usually helps you faster to finding freedom. And you find a lot of great ways to be able to express yourself in the real estate you're buying and the quality you're giving to other people. Great question, Saul. Very good question. Any other questions? Leave it on the chat section, and I'll be happy to answer. He said, thanks for answering my question. Saul says, thanks for answering my question. I'll meet you the day I'm a millionaire. I'm 18. Saul, believe it or not, becoming a millionaire is not as hard as you think. First, you have to change your mind. You must read the books I suggest. You must watch all those videos. You must change the way you think. Becoming a millionaire is not that hard. Most of us don't become it that fast because of the way we think and the way we act. We become scared and we don't make the right decisions because of our fear and don't get to grow as fast. So, money has no fear. Money's not real. Money goes after whoever wants it, whoever's bringing the best value for it. And they're going to go that way indiscriminately. So how to start in real estate with small amounts? That was another question I was asked. So you can start in real estate with small amounts many ways. One, you can do an FHA loan, living on one side, renting out the other units. That requires very little money. I mean, you can get into a property probably for as little as $7,000. Another way, even if you don't have that much money, you can take money from parents and partners to help get your first loan, using an FHA loan or not using it. Next, you could do a flip. By doing a flip, you only require usually 10% down and 10% of the renovations. So that way you can do a flip deal and be able to buy, renovate, and sell, or buy, renovate, and refinance, and hold the property. There's many ways you can do a property with very little money, but it's about you finding the property and you finding the right players to go along. So people who benefit are people who will be able to problem solve. The more you're able to problem solve, the better you're able to grow in business, in any business, not just real estate. So another question is how to get started. The best way to get started is really studying. You don't want to go and just get started and not study, not understand how it really is, right? You must know your market. You must know the game. You must understand it very well. And then once you learn it, don't take forever of actually doing it. Like, I know a lot of people who know it and know the game very well, but they take years to actually go and pull the trigger and buy a deal. And next thing, real estate is not a cheap game. You have to be willing to pay the right experts to get the good advice. Because if you're not, and you don't get the right inspection and you don't get the right assessments, you're going to end up buying a property that has major problems and you won't even understand what that means, right? Hey, you have an electrical problem. Oh, you think that's cheap. In reality, it's not cheap. It's an $8,000 issue. Well, it's an $8,000 issue. Now you got to resolve it. Maybe someone comes and gives you a quote and says, oh, it's going to be about $4,000 to $5,000 to fix. And if you get an assessment from a separate third party, you'll be like, okay, yeah, it is $4,000 to $5,000 to fix when the market's not on fire. But right now, everyone's super busy. So they're going to charge you $8,000 to do that fix. That's more standard rates. So you have to make sure you spend the money to get the proper answers. Valuations and budgeting, i.e. rent yield and calculations. So the best way for you to get valuations and budgeting is, one, studying your market. So you should also, in the sense of studying your market, you're not assessing what things are buying for in certain conditions, what things are selling for in other conditions. You also need to know what they're renting for. So then let's just say you bought a property that's beat up for $200,000. And then, if I invest $50,000, it will, I'll be able to sell it for $300,000. Great. You know what it costs to buy and sell. But if you sold something at $300,000, right, you're thinking I'm going to make $50,000. But realtor fees is roughly 6% plus closing costs is 1%. That's like 6 to 7%. Let's just say you get lucky to only 6%. That's still $18,000 out of your $50,000. And then there's other miscellaneous costs. But let's just say it's only $18,000 out of the $50,000. You're only left with $32,000 for all that work and all that exposure. Another option is for you to BRRRR method it. But you got to decide, is it worth me to BRRRR method this property? So if I do a BRRRR method and I owe $250,000 on this deal, how much is my loan going to be? What is my rent going to be? How much is my payment going to be? Taxes, insurance. So all those calculations, you need to be able to determine, is it profitable? Is it worth it? And normally what I found, at least in the Florida market and most other markets, is that it's usually not worth it to keep housing because the numbers usually don't make sense. Usually you'll make more money on multi-unit family. And that's why most people are on multi-unit rentals. Nancy says, opening a business bank account. Any banks or credit cards that are preferred have advantages. Honestly, the one I've found the best for best overall is Chase. Chase has been the most friendly and the rules that are most client friendly. Other banks are not as friendly and aren't as easy to work with. So I would say Chase if I was going to go and open a new account. So another question that came in, it says spotting opportunities. So the thing is to spot opportunities, right? If someone else saw this 18-unit deal that I'm looking at now and said, 1.75 million, nah, it's too much. They actually wouldn't probably pull the trigger on it, right? Because they'll be like, too much. If they don't know their market, if they don't know the value, they can't pull the trigger. They won't be able to. So by studying your market, knowing what things are worth, by checking Zillow and checking other sites to see what are they worth before they're remodeled and what are they worth after, and just taking the time. It's not one day. It's going to take you months. But as long as you're enjoying it and you like looking at it, like I actually did enjoy looking at real estate. Before there was Zillow and everything else, there was magazines that would have real estate for sale, and I would just flip through the magazine and just keep flipping. And I'd look at all these houses, and like, oh man, that's a nice house. Oh, in this area, it's that much money. Interesting, And I'd look at it at like 14, 15. I think it was really cool. And by doing that, and you'll learn to assess what is a good deal. And by doing that, you're going to be able to grow. So it's really a great opportunity to learn and grow, and that's how you're going to be able to spot an opportunity. And the more you do it, like Warren Buffett spends hours every day doing it, the more you do it, the more you know when a good deal comes up, it's worth buying. That's it. That's the secret. Like, work harder than everybody else. And that's how you'll be able to spot opportunities. Be more patient than anybody else. Financing. So I had a question regarding financing. As we know, there's first-time home buyers, FHA loans, 3.5% down. We know there's hard money loans where you can put down 10% of the purchase and 10% of the remodel. We do know that there's standard loans for investors that already have established properties that are in good conditions. They're about 20 to 30% down, and you can get a loan for them. You have bridge loans, which are short-term loans for larger properties, which are similar to hard money loans. And you have the regular 30-year fixed-rate loans that you can refinance in, you can burn method in to keep as well. Those are all the different options for financing. And there's many different ways you could take the financing game, mix with finding real estate, mix with adding value to real estate. And by the more you use those different sections, the more you'll be able to make more money in the game. Another question here is how to start from bare bones, Airbnb. So Airbnb is a different animal, right? When you do Airbnb, it is a lot more difficult. It is a lot more tedious. So if you're doing real estate as a side hustle, which is an opportunity, you can do it as a side hustle. You have to make sure that you're prepared for the Airbnb aspect, because it is a lot more labor intensive. So you can do it, but it's a lot more labor intensive. If it's a side hustle and you don't have a lot of time, I wouldn't advise it. But if you do have the time to take, then you can do it, because not only do you have to find a good deal in the right market at the right price and finance it properly, all things that are possible and doable, you then must decorate it properly and list it properly and take care of your guests. Because what's most important is taking care of the guest. I would say yes, decorations and making it beautiful is important, but making sure your guest is well taken care of is more important. Think about what they need and what they want, and make sure they have it and they're prepared for it. So guys, my voice is not that great this week. So what I'm thinking of doing is just ending it a little early and touching base with everybody this Wednesday. I'm going to try to make it this Wednesday. I'm going to be in Nashville for a business conference, and I'm still going to try to do the live event Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So actually, I might have to do it 10 p.m. Eastern Time this next week, because I'm going to be in Nashville, so there's a time zone difference. But we'll keep in touch, and I'll let you guys know. I appreciate all the love, all the feedback, all the thumbs up. Thank you very much for sharing me with your friends, for liking and commenting on IG and YouTube, and for all the great questions. I wish you guys peace and happiness. I'll see you all guys later this week. Have a great week and keep working towards your goals.